late 1969. I had an experience in the Redwoods outside of Santa Cruz. And in that experience, I really started hearing music that was radically different than any of the music I'd been playing in jazz or rock or R&B before that. As things would happen, I found myself at a piano in a couple hours, what was supposed to be a job interview, sat down at the piano and started playing music that I'd never played before. And when the people came into the room, they said, "Wow, this is incredible music. How'd you learn to play like that?" And it makes us feel really relaxed and we feel very peaceful. Can you do more of that? That was really the beginning of how I got into this work. And as it turned out, I would come in contact with some scientists and they talked to me about, we see the subjective responses of individuals relaxing and starting to meditate. Can you prove it? What is the objective data? And that's what got me back into doing research involving brainwave analysis, Kirlian photography, etc., biofeedback research, really exploring the fact that this was not a subjective response exclusively, but there were objective realities, and that it was something that was working on just about anyone who listened. So that's how I got involved into a deeper aspect of the healing powers of music. It was something that I've always been interested in. The first time I read something about Edgar Cayce when I was probably about 13 years old, a little light went on in my head, and I knew that that was something that I was really interested in, but there was no information, there was no database to go read books about the healing power of music. So it was something that I would be checking out on my own. When I started getting involved in researching, I wound up being invited to be part of a graduate program. I was one of two students of many who were doing marriage and family counseling or humanistic psychology. I was involved in wanting to do some research to explore the healing powers of music. And through that, I was introduced to some of the leading scientists of the era, including Dr. Marcel Vogel, Dr. Herb Benson, and Itzhak Bentov, a number of other people who had not only an interest in relaxation and healing and consciousness, but also in some cases had developed some of the first devices of its kind to measure subtle energies, to measure chakras, to measure the relaxation response. And as a graduate student, I had access to this equipment for free, which was a great reason to be a graduate student, and started doing some research. When we started rolling out the very first day, the responses were so extraordinarily different between the experimental music, essentially chakra suite, the music that I was composing and playing, versus the highest rated classical music for relaxation from the music therapist's own studies, blew them out of the water. And it was a difference of night and day. And some of the research associates said, this is no longer just your graduate research program, this is your life. You've got to tell other people about this. You've got to publicize this. And as a graduate student with no money, no training in business or anything else, that was rather daunting. And I had no idea that that indeed would be what my life would revolve upon for the next 35 years after. That was 1972.